I'd like to ask you one question, and that's about one of the justices, black justice of the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas, when he was in these awful hearings that they have in the Senate. I remember when he was appointed, they brought out this argument that he had sexually assaulted, harassed a person working for him, Anita Hill. And I remember during the case, it became quite clear that whenever he changed his job, Miss Hill followed him to that job. Whenever he changed it, Anita Hill followed him. So if he were harassing her, she apparently seemed to like it. But that was the big thing, and it was presented as if it were a proven fact, and of course it wasn't. But now they're out to get Clarence Thomas. There's a major campaign against him. And
they are, yes.
And and the basis is that he's been receiving favours from a man, trips particularly, trips in a private plane and so on. But Ted Cruz produced a list of judges. It's interesting to go and hear it. He found that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Justice Breyer, Justice Kagan, Justice Sotomayor, they all had as many trips, and sometimes more trips, proportionally, certainly more trips than he's ever had.
Yes, it's just absurd. I mean, it really is embarrassing. He's done nothing wrong, nothing illegal. I don't see how any of these trips would affect his decision-making on the court anyway, which is largely dealing with very abstract legal issues. But, they can't bring him down. He's a life appointee, and he's a pretty tough guy. And isn't it just extraordinary that, the left attacks this black man whose career is just extraordinary and should be celebrated. I mean, he came from poverty, and he's a brilliant man who worked extremely hard and was originally a leftist, actually, I think, at university, and went to all sorts of left-wing protests. Yeah, yes, that's right. That's right. And,
I don't wish
now look at him.
implicate you, though.
Well, no, I still have my left-wing moments. I'm still young enough, David, to have a few left-wing moments. Maybe not for the rest of my life, though.
I think his sin is he's an originalist. He believes the Constitution means what it was generally believed to originally mean. He doesn't follow the other school, which is the Constitution means what I say it means.
Exactly.
He's completely different from...
And the great disappointment is, with the Roe v. Wade case, is that it's seen by most people as a decision about abortion, right? It had nothing to do with abortion. The legal issue was whether or not this was a state responsibility or not.
Yes.
It really wasn't about abortion per se. It was about states' rights. And I think the court made the right decision. Certainly as a non-lawyer reading the judgment, it made perfect sense to me that this right to an abortion was not in the Bill of Rights.
Yes, extraordinary that you could say that there's a constitutional right to abort when...
Yes, it is extraordinary.
I think the Founding Fathers would have been amazed had that ever been told to them.
And I think even Ginsburg said herself, didn't she, 20 years ago, that the decision-making, the legal reasoning behind Roe was far from ideal. I think something like that.
Yes.